Hi everyone, it's Darren here, the Very Creative Vegan, and thanks for tuning into this video, which is an exclusive plant-based business special and interview with Willicroft. And I visited Amsterdam recently, and Willicroft is a new plant-based cheese shop. The founder is Brad, and he kindly took some time out from his busy job to give me this exclusive interview. So I went into the shop, tried out the cheeses. They're absolutely amazing. It's been only going for just over a month. The press has been global, and you'll hear from him about why he set up the business, how it's doing, and his plans for the future. So hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for tuning in. If you are a vegan and plant-based business and you want to be featured on my channel, or you want a video promo like this for your business, then DM me at any time. But again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Bye for now.
I guess if I was to single out something, it's the fact that I was now doing something for the environment, and I've cared deeply about my impact on the planet for a long time, and I hadn't been able to put that into enough of my day-to-day. So the fact that I could wake up every day and slowly impact upon the environment, that's been the biggest thing for me personally.
My grandparents were dairy farmers, and Willicroft is named after their dairy farm in Devon. So they farmed it for 50 years. So we always say the brand was established in 1957 when they got the farm, and reimagined in 2018 when I kicked things off. My grandpa isn't quite sure how you can make cheese from nuts and soy, so that's the thing that's still throwing him. But I think he's actually very pragmatic these days. He understands that the way in which we produce food has got to change, and so he really respects that part. He wants farmers to keep playing a really important role, as do I, in the future, but I think he's open to reimagining what that looks like, which is pretty cool. So I moved to Amsterdam about 3.5 years ago. And I've been living in New York for a few years, and me and my partner, we basically saw this as a chance to reset a little bit. We started watching a lot of documentaries and read a lot of books. It was a long, cold winter that winter. And yeah, we just kind of figured out that we needed to make some adjustments to our lifestyle, and we saw that one of the best ways we could start having a more or less negative impact on the planet was to change our diet. So, and yeah, we went pretty quickly on to changing our diets, and in doing so we found giving up meat and milk actually really simple. We didn't miss them a great deal, but I love cheese. It was my favourite food growing up and for most of my life, so dropping that was pretty damn difficult, and that's why I just started experimenting at home. And this was never really meant to be a business. It was just a means for bridging a gap in our own lives, really, and just finding a better alternative to what was out there in the supermarkets, and it's yeah, it's got a bit out of hand. I can vividly remember it. It was May last year, 2018, and well, 2 years ago now, and we had a bunch of friends around one evening for dinner, and we hadn't really made it a night about my cheeses, but people knew they were going to try it at the end of the evening, and I brought them out onto the table after the rest of the meal, and they were gone in a couple of minutes. And I had a lot of people come to that evening who are very honest, and they don't hold back with their feedback, and they tell me if they thought something was good or something was bad, and pretty much everyone that evening said, right, you've got to drop your job and do this. So that for me is the evening I consider where the company started. Well, you just have to strip it back into the process of dairy cheese making and looking at how that's made and also the nutritionals behind it. So when we make a new cheese, we firstly look at the steps needed to create that cheese, and then we look at the nutritionals that we need to find with plant-based ingredients. So that doesn't completely solve the mystery, but it gets you to a point when you can then evolve it and adapt it and make those final adjustments. So it's, yeah, the cheeses we make are remarkably similar in their resemblance to dairy cheese, I think because of the fact that we respect the traditional processes. There's a lot of plant-based cheeses out there that are still using coconut oil and palm oil, and they can replicate the structure and the appearance of cheese, but they're not getting anywhere near the flavour with that kind of approach. It's kind of it's a quick workaround around the solution, basically. It's remarkably simple in terms of the ingredient profiles. It's creating really strong, lasting cultures. That's the key. And if you respect the process of making a culture and you make it with natural ingredients, it tastes that way. I think the ingredients are really important as well. It's just like anything. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And we've all been to a nice restaurant with locally sourced ingredients and noticed the improvement in flavour, and that's kind of the approach we take. We take a lot of time sourcing our suppliers and making sure that each element of the product is well thought through. Initially I took each week as it came. I think sometimes people get a bit obsessed with 5-year plans and looking too far into the future. I think you've always got a dream, but you've also got to be really focused. So the first few months were just about getting the product up to a point where I could reproduce it to the same level, going out there and getting feedback by doing markets and selling into small stores and small caterers, but leaving a lot of the longer term stuff to one side. So I didn't think too much about packaging or branding or those things, because they're important. If you don't have a good product, then it's a marketing scheme. So that was kind of the focus until January last year. And then January last year I realised, hey, right, this is something that can be a lot bigger than what it is currently. So then I started to take the steps of going through a couple of accelerators, getting a lot of additional support through there. And then it was about getting the branding done so that we had a real kind of face to the company, which told the story the way it should be told. And yeah, that's kind of how we've got to where we are now. And the store itself, it's something I always wanted to have as a store. Now when you have any misunderstanding of what the customer wants or any market research needs to be done, we don't have to go out into the street. We just walk upstairs and just ask a few questions. It's amazing for that. So we have about 5 cheeses on the market, so a combination of sauces and softer cheeses. And the next step is to introduce some harder cheeses. I think that's the real kind of mecca for vegan cheese making. No one has quite cracked a hard cheese, I don't think. I've had some really good structured cheeses, but the flavour hasn't quite been right. So that's where we're looking to get to on the production point, our production side. Then in terms of how we want to grow, we really want to start looking at a couple of other markets over the next couple of months and years. And yeah, the UK is probably first on our list because I'm from the UK. It is still home, and we've got a lot of good contacts there, and it seems to be absolutely flying. Plant-based stuff there, which is really cool. And then with our kind of impact measurement stuff, we're really trying to set some kind of groundwork in place, which enables us to really measure our impact going forward and make good decisions. So we're measuring all the CO2 of all of our cheeses, and we're cross-comparing that to their dairy cheese equivalent. So we know the fondue, for example, is 2.5 times less CO2 than the dairy fondue. That's good, but it can be better. So we're now looking at every component of our supply chain and looking at how we can shorten it. So we're actually looking at base ingredients that can be grown closer to home to maybe replace nuts. So there's lots of stuff in the works. This guy is the star of the show. What I love about fondue is it really speaks to cheese lovers, and what sort of standards we set ourselves to is we consider ourselves a plant-based cheese company for dairy cheese lovers. So it's super important that people who are plant-based enjoy it, but we really want to help people switch. And for so many people, cheese is the final hurdle. So what I love about this is people really do give us amazing feedback who love their cheese. And in Holland, we're in a country of absolute cheeseheads. So that's the best feeling when a 50-year-old with a very set diet comes in and says, wow, I can now stop eating dairy fondue and eat this one. So that's our,
let's be honest, I mean, is it making fondue cool again, or have it gone out of fashion in Amsterdam, or a little bit?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it has a bit, it's lost its...
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
So bringing it back as a vegan equivalent, I think suddenly people, the fondue parties of the 70s.
100%. We need to get this out to the Alps at some point and start getting those beautiful moustaches and those onesie ski outfits back in fashion again, I think. So that's the fondue. Then we have two sauces, and these guys are pretty versatile. So they're pasta sauces, but they're also great on pizzas as a white pizza base. So the cheese sauce is like a mac and cheese sauce, but it's great with nachos and, as I said, on pizza. And the truffle sauce is a really decadent, rich flavour. So this again is perfect with like ravioli, and it's super nice as a white pizza base as well. Then I don't have the packaging here, but we have just put through into the final testing a cream cheese, and this comes in 3 different flavours. So we've got a classic, we've got a jalapeno, and we've also got a herbed cream cheese. And then finally we have a grated parmesan as well. And then the hard parmesan is coming quite soon as well. Definitely, so I know some really nice natural wine importers here in Amsterdam, and we're actually gonna, every Thursday from February onwards, we're gonna be doing a natural wine and fondue evening here. That's gonna run until the summer, and we're also gonna be selling natural wines here as well, because actually there's not a crazy amount of places where you can get vegan and natural wines in Amsterdam. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be adding to that here.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate you taking your time. I really love Amsterdam. Cheers, mate.
Perfect. Thanks for coming.
Hi everyone, I'm with Nina in Amsterdam at the wonderful new vegan-only cheese shop in the whole of Amsterdam. Is that right, Nina?
That is true, in the whole of the Netherlands, actually.
Wow. And so she has literally just arrived by chance, and we're just going to try some of the cheeses, but she's going to tell you what is on display here.
Yes, so from our own brand, currently we mostly sell cheese sauces and a cheese fondue. So here we have our basic cheese sauce, which is really versatile. You can have it as a mac and cheese sauce, you can have it with nachos, it heats up really well. You can even have it as a kind of bechamel, so if you're making a lasagna in between the layers, or even on a pizza, instead of a tomato base, you can use this as a white base. Then we have our truffle sauce, which is quite punchy. It's mostly lovely with pasta. The same goes for this one. It also heats up really well, a couple minutes. And then I think this is the favorite, actually our best seller, and my personal favorite as well. This is our cheese fondue. And you add to this a little bit of white wine to really give it that quintessential fondue taste. We like to serve it in a bread, as you can see here. But of course you can do that however you like. Then we also sell some other cheeses from other local producers. This is a camembert-like cheese with apricot and cumin flavor. We also have 2 other flavors, a pepper jack and Italian herbs. And this is from the local restaurant Yerba. This is a leek and ash cheese.
So a few questions. You've only been going a month.
Yeah, that's
And so
that's
how has it been? How have people responded?
It's honestly been great. Yeah, when I started working here, I wasn't sure how it would be received, but we get so many customers, and not only vegans actually. We also get people who are lactose intolerant, or people who just generally would like to explore how they can kind of diminish their footprint, their ecological footprint. So it's really nice to see. It's actually quite inspiring.
And was there a particular reason you chose this part of Amsterdam? It's quite a good spot here.
It's a great spot. It actually came to us kind of by chance, because Brad was looking for an office for the business, so that's downstairs actually. So we got the opportunity to do it here, but I think it's a perfect place. It's next to the museums, like you said. So yeah, I think it's been going really well, and it's not only people who know us who come here, but also people who walk past and just see, oh, vegan cheese shop, let's check it out.
How long have you been vegan now?
I'm not actually vegan myself.
There you go, good.
Yes, I would say that my diet is 90% plant-based, but yeah, so that's also kind of our ideas, that we don't necessarily call it vegan, we call it plant-based, because we don't want to distance some people who think that everything's black and white, like either you're vegan or you're not. But you know, it's more of a spectrum, or that's how I like to see it. And yeah, everyone can come have a try and see.
And if people visit Amsterdam, they can come and buy. Is it transport? Are you sending it to anywhere else in the world, or Europe? Yes.
No, right now we're just in the Netherlands, and here we also deliver through an app, and we're in a few supermarkets. So within the country, nationally, it's quite easy to get our product, but outside of the Netherlands currently, not.
I really appreciate that, Nina. We're going to tuck in. We can't wait to try some and buy some. So
all right.
We wish you the best of luck with the store. It's
Thank
very
you so
exciting.
much. Thank you.